Good morning, everyone. Before I get started, I just want to thank those of you who came as well as made a contribution to last week's fundraiser concert that I put on. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful, as well as the church, so thank you. I had fun. I've come a long way down this road, always learning as I go. But you can't look backward and get ahead. It's time to lead and not be led. Goodbye limitation, hello liberation. Goodbye frustration, hello to living my life by my design. Breaking these chains that bind my mind, learning to color outside the line. Dare to be, dare to be. Dare to be, dare to be. Unconventional. Yeah. Uniformity is getting old. Time for gusty, time for bold. Time for me to break the mold, to find out just how far I can go. Goodbye limitation, hello liberation. Goodbye frustration, hello to living my life by my design. Breaking these chains that bind my mind, learning to color outside the line. Dare to be, dare to be. Dare to be, dare to be. Dare to be, dare to be.
One of a kind.
Be one of a kind, everybody. Goodbye limitation, hello liberation. Goodbye frustration, hello to living my life by my design. Breaking these chains that bind my mind, learning to color outside the line. Dare to be, dare to be. Dare to be, dare to be. Dare to be, dare to be.
Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, we're happy you're here with us. We're happy to have you and welcome you at any time. June's power for the month is imagination. I let my imagination soar and my divine potential awakens. Please join me in repeating the affirmation. I let my imagination soar and my divine potential awakens. This is our daily word. It's a daily devotional that you can get in our bookstore, or you can subscribe and get a physical copy or a copy that you can put on a device. Today's daily word is blessing for fathers. And the affirmation is, I bless my father and the men who have shown me fatherly kindness. Please join me in saying the affirmation together. I bless my father and the men who have shown me fatherly kindness. And now the daily word. Today I bless and give heartfelt thanks to my father and the men who were fatherly figures to me. Their protecting presence, wise guidance, and caring instruction have helped make me the person I am today. I bless my father and those who shared a father's love and care with prayers of appreciation for my memories throughout all the seasons of my life. Through good times and bad, I see God expressing through my father and the men who have shown me fatherly love. I bless them with prayers of gratitude, affirming they know the love and care of God as they have shown it so generously and faithfully to me. And from Ephesians 6:4, and fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. And we have a unity prayer box in the back of the sanctuary. Unity was founded on the mighty power of affirmative prayer, which means praying what we want more of instead of focusing on the issue. For example, if you're ill, ask for healing. If you're unsure about an upcoming decision, ask for guidance. And if you're grateful for a healed relationship or a new job, request a prayer for Thanksgiving. The prayer box is there in the middle of the back shelf. There are slips there that you can fill out, and you can place your request. Please just put the first name of the person on the request. After the service today, I will share all of these requests with all of our prayer chaplains, and then we send them to Silent Unity for an extra 30 days of prayer. As you place your request in the box, give thanks in advance for answered prayer and let go and let God. We also invite you to join us up at the front after the service. Those of us in the purple stoles serve you and hold it as a sacred honor to hold in confidence any of your prayer requests. And we will be up there as soon as the service is over. Thank you.
Morning is broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise from them springing fresh from the world. Sweet's the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Pray for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where his feet pass. Mine is the sun, light, mine is the morning, born of the one light, Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of a new dawn day. Dawn day. first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise from them springing fresh from the world.
Yes, it is. It is on. Yeah, it's on. Whoa, hey. Okay, the announcements for today. First of all, Donna, this says the Lady in Black's concert, but that one up says Heart to Heart concert, so I'm not sure what that means. Last Sunday, fundraising success, bringing almost $700 toward our sound system. We are getting there. Woohoo! And also, it was so great to have all that potluck food. It was really, really good. It's amazing what people can bring. And I don't think anybody really knew what anybody else was bringing, which I always find is amazing. Now, today, there's a meeting at 11:30 in the sanctuary for all artists. That means anybody who can do craft, knitting, sculpting, even if you're writing, making furniture, anything like that, or knitting. You know, we're meeting together today at the sanctuary at 11:30 to see if there's an interest in this type of event. Come with your ideas and let's see what develops. You don't have to answer anybody, just come on in. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are very talented, not only just singing. But okay, next is today is also, let's see, it's up there. Yeah, it's up there. Today is also our Outreach Sunday for the collection of gently used clothing, household items, and non-perishable foods. In the month of May, we contributed $1,000 worth of items. The collection is every third Sunday. Yay! Of the month, and here your continued support is appreciated. Okay, the spiritual yoga fundraiser now is July 23rd at 11:30. Please plan to attend. With previously purchased tickets may be honored, or you may purchase tickets in the narthex if you would like the new date. You don't have to know how to do yoga. Just sitting and listening and being quiet is part of yoga. Thank you.
This is a time in our service where we give over ourselves to some quiet time with that inner dwelling, that intuitive nature, that essence within us that we choose to call God. So I invite you to put both feet on the ground and maybe even open your hands to be open and receptive. And just gently close your outer eyes if you're comfortable. And just know that we want to put aside all that has occurred and all that is yet to happen. For we want to be in this moment, in this time, to be open and receptive to that still small voice of God. For today is Father's Day. And so whether you knew your earthly father or not, somebody created this wonderful life that you are. And so we allow ourselves to just be in this moment to give gratitude for the beingness of the fathers in our lives. That individual that helped raise us, that fatherly spirit, that fatherly essence. And we bring that together with the power of imagination this month, and we just know that no matter where you are in your understanding of your earthly father, you have a Father presence within you. So let us call to mind this essence, this beingness that we can term Mother, Father, God. For we have all aspects of our feminine nature and our masculine nature within us. And we outwardly express those gifts as the being of who we are. And with that, we express our gaudiness to the world, to our earthly world. So we just take a nice deep breath and breathing in that essence, that life force that the breath of God gives us. And we exhale all that no longer serves us. The discord in our lives, the unease with which we live, we let it go. And we take another deep breath, knowing the love and presence of God is felt and permeates our being through the breath that beats our hearts. So we use the power of imagination to bring forth our clarity, our wholeness, and our perfection for excellence. And we allow this vision of clarity to be felt within us. We allow our minds to go to that place within our being where we know all is well in our world. For it is all well, all good. And we allow ourselves to go to that place within where it is peaceful, where it is calm, where all substance resides. And we breathe into this substance that provides all. Everything we need, everything we crave for, everything we desire is in this substance. And this substance is of God. So we call to mind one area of our life that we would like to pay attention to. It may be your prosperity, relationships, health, wholeness. We bring this area to the forefront of our thinking, and we allow ourselves to meld together all substance with this area. And we do that by knowing that God provides for all and for everything. So we take this brief moment of time to open our minds and our hearts to see the wellspring of God provide the substance that we desire. And as we listen to that still small voice of God, we know that the answer is forthcoming. For God hears the deepest desires of our hearts before we even know of them. So the universe is working in tandem to provide all that you need. So we go into the silence and we listen to that still small voice. And we listen with our minds open and our hearts open. For the answer awaits us. And in our own sweet way, let us bring to mind our own gratitude, and we give thanks for this opportunity to just be still. And for this we are grateful, and so it is. Amen.
Many nights we've prayed with no proof anyone could hear. In our hearts, a hopeful song we barely understood. Now we are not afraid, although we know there's much to fear. We were moving mountains long before we knew we could. There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe? Somehow you will. You will when you believe. In this time of fear, when prayer so often proves in vain, hope seems like the summer birds too swiftly flown away. Yet now I'm standing here, my heart's so full I can't explain, seeking faith and speaking words I'd never thought I'd say. There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe? Somehow you will. You will when you believe. They don't always happen when you ask, and it's easy to give in to your fears. But when you're blinded by your pain, can't see the way, get through the rain, a small but still resilient voice says, help is very near. When you be miracles, when you believe, though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe? Somehow you will. When you believe, somehow you will believe.
I haven't personally measured it, but I understand we've had more than 7 inches of rain in the last week. So the ponds are full, which is awesome. So today's Bible story, 2 Kings chapter 3, is so apropos for what we're going to be talking about today. In this particular Bible story, feel free, 2 Kings chapter 3, to read this, because I had to read it more than once to figure out what in blazes are they talking about, and how does it connect with our wonderful Rich Life, Holy Life series that we're doing. This is the second week of 6 for this book, and there are 5 of these books left in the bookstore if you want to follow along. And our last slide for the talk is going to talk about the questions we would like you to think about. And of course, these are the questions that our spirit groups is going to be addressing this week in their conversations with each other. So I said, okay, let me give you the short version. Because if I read it, some of you are going to get up and walk out. What the heck is she talking about? Because there's just a lot of names, those Bible names, and you're like, who's in charge? You kind of forget about it. So what's happening is the king of Israel dies, and his son takes over. His son is Ahab. Ahab is not like his father, but Ahab decides that he doesn't want to do any of the idol worshiping that his dad did. So he forbids idol worshiping, and off he goes, but he still continues his riotous living that his dad was known for, which was encampments, slavery, taken from, just icky stuff that none of us really like. So he gets, the treasury is built on everybody giving. It's the law of the land. You got to give. So Moab, down the road a piece, says, you know what? I'm not giving to you. So Ahab says, wait a pickin' minute. Everybody's got to give. So he invites 2 other kings, and the 3 of them head off to Moab. We're going to force him to give us what is rightly ours. Made sense to me. 7 days he journeys, and there's no water. Water is out. The streams are dry. There's nothing to feed his soldiers, nothing to even water his animals that are following him as well. So he says, we got to do something about this. So he said, surely there's somebody around here who can help us. The mystics, those that have power with God. Sure enough, he meets up with Elisha. And Elisha says, oh, well, I'm not getting involved in your war. I know better than that. He said, no, I just want some water. He says, well, bring me a musician. And I went, what? Bring me a musician? Musician calms Elisha down, and he meditates. It's that music part of us that calms us down. And he gets his revelation from God, and he tells the 3 kings, you're not going to hear the wind, you're not going to see a cloud in the sky, but I want you to go and dig ditches everywhere. For the rain will fill those ditches. You just won't see it. Now, we had the wonderful privilege of seeing lightning, the skies darken, and the thunder, and right? Imagine how strong your faith is. They go and they dig the ditches, and they wake up in the morning and they're filled. Now that's faith, right? But they had to take action. And I'm like reading this going, wait a second, this guy is about to plunger and kill all the Moabs, and God answers their prayer and gives them water. I'm like, really? And I realized, wait a second, it's baby steps, isn't it, to our relationship with God? Because it takes faith for things to change. And what did Ahab do? He got rid of the idol gods. He did his part to evolve into a relationship with God. And isn't that what we're doing? We're evolving, each of us individually in our own ways. And this is a sidebar, and that's what inclusivity really means. We open our doors and we let everybody in, right? Say yes. Okay. That's important that we acknowledge that, okay? Not go, what's she talking about? We let anybody in. Now, we don't change our faith based on who comes in. This is who we are. This is what we teach. If you like what we teach, you are welcome here. If you want to do something different, then go down the block and go do that. And we bless them, right? So in our evolutionary process, we all change at a different pace. And even though Ahab was still about acquiring land and killing anybody in his path to get it, nevertheless, he was making inroads into a better understanding of his God. So, they get their water, and it turns out that Moab is like, whoa, what is going on down there? There seems to be an army gathered. So he gathers his groups, and he looks, and what he sees is the water is red, as if from blood. So he starts to panic. But then he goes, oh, I got it! Because Moab liked his idol-worshiping gods, and that was taken away from him. So he sees the blood, and he thinks the three tribes are fighting each other, and he's going to go and get the spoils. And as the prophet Elijah says, you will be provided for, and the army of Moab will walk into your hands. Moab crosses over and finds out that all three armies are full intact, and he loses the war and runs away quickly. The point being is that if you want it to rain, bring an umbrella, right? Simple thing. And so he's told what he needs to do to have God provide for him, Ahab, and they do it. They dig the ditches, and boom, what they need is provided for. Now, if that's not a prosperity lesson, because he asks for help, is told what to do, does it, and waits patiently, and boom, magic happens. Some would call it magic, right? It's not. It's the will of God within us. So it's an important story because this Rich Life, Holy Life book is all about prosperity. Right? This is a prosperity lesson book. It's good stuff. And so we're going to shift it over to chapter 3 of this book, Sow Your Seeds. And so I want to share with you a little bit. You tell me when you're ready, Miss Terry. I'm good. Oh, awesome! Good job. So Rich Life, Holy Life, this is our second and 3 stories. So I want to share with you some things that are prevalent in this wonderful chapter. The affirmation for this chapter is, I give thanks that my thoughts and words conform to the truth, and God brings me true and lasting prosperity. This is the quest. How do we bring the truth into our lives? How do we do that? And so for some of us, we find untruths in our lives, like I don't have enough. That would be an untruth. How many of you were grateful that the interest rates didn't go up? So what if they did? That's the prosperity lesson. Doesn't affect me, but that takes faith because we're so ingrained on letting the outside error thought become our error thought. So we actually believe that raising or lowering interest rates is going to affect our pocketbook. You all can prove it. You can go back to the stats and say, sure enough, when this happens, and that happens. You can do all that, but that's not God. That's the human side of us. Because with God, all things are... I'm sorry? Possible. Yeah. So we talked about putting things in boxes, right? So when we say the interest rate is going to affect our pocketbook, up or down, whichever you believe, we're putting our prosperity into a box. We're putting our source into something outside of ourselves. There were people who made a whole lot of money during the Depression, all 5 of them. How is that possible? Because they weren't in a box. They were not negatively impacted by that. So the point being is that you must give thanks. That's the first step. You have to give thanks for what you have already. How many of you had dinner last night? Anybody who wanted dinner and didn't get it? I hope you give thanks for dinners, right? It starts out with what we have. And there's always something to give thanks for what we have. The truth about prosperity. There is no other place in the universe where we are absolute masters. How many of you are control freaks? Oh, come on. Come on. I'm a control freak. How many of you are control freaks? Come on, raise your hand. You own it. Own it. Give thanks for the fact that you're a control freak. Because this is the area of your life you get to control totally. This is your dominion, your thoughts. There is no other place in the universe where you're absolute masters. The dominion given us as our divine right is over our own thoughts only. Now, I got questions all day today. How many of you want to control somebody else? Oh, come on! Yeah, we all do! You know? How's that working for you? Yeah, not so much. It's a lot of work, and it doesn't work. Oh, it works for a little tidbit, and then the big ones, no, there's no way. The toilet seat's going to remain up. You can control it all you want, it's just not going to happen. Once in a blue moon it happens, right? The point being is that it's up to us to control and manage those thoughts. That's what you have total dominion over, no matter what is going on in the outside world, including no matter what's going on in your inside world. You still have control over those thoughts. It's not easy. I make it easy because it is simple. We just don't do it enough. We're out of practice. You know, we tend to not do what's placed in front of us to do and then wonder why, right? Wonder why isn't God listening to us? And God says, I brought the boat around 3 times. And you're like, well, I didn't want to do that. Yeah, I get it. The formative power of mind, one of our 5 statements of truth for Unity Movement is the power of our mind. We can control that. And how do we control that? Besides just paying attention. When our subconscious, remember there's 3 phases of man? Conscious, our day-to-day experiences. The subconscious, where everything we think of, do, and say is sitting there, and then the superconscious where God resides. We have all of that within us. So we're conscious of, gee, I'll get dressed today. Gee, I think I'll go to church. And those are our conscious. The subconscious is what's sitting underneath us that we make our decisions on, forgetting to go to the supermind, because the supermind is where all good thoughts reside. And we tend to forget to go there. That's why we encourage prayer and meditation. Go there. Because that's where the good stuff is. And you want to be reminded where the good stuff is so you can tap into it and give thanks for what you don't have yet. Because it's coming. We must realize that all the while that whatever we put as seed into the subconscious soil will eventually bring forth our deepest desires. How many of you love plants, grow herbs, all that goodness? Yeah, me. I love that. Love the feel of the earth. You know, I think it's so successful to look at my fingernails and go, oh yeah, there's dirt under there. Because it reminds me that I connected with the earth. So when I plant something, I'm planting sunflowers. So I planted a bunch of sunflower seeds and they've sprouted up. And now I planted the sunflower seeds. Did I expect broccoli? Right? Common sense says of course not. But a lack consciousness would see a weed along with the sunflower seed. And what do? Pluck that weed out so the sunflower can flourish. What if we were to operate our minds like that? A visualization that we're planting something wonderful in our lives, aren't we? If we're not, why not? Let's do some sowing of good thoughts. And when the negative thoughts come in, we pluck them out and go, out of here. And water the good thoughts. Continue to nourish the good thoughts. Let them see sunlight. Let them get wet. Let them flourish. And that's how gardens grow. Isn't our mind a garden of ideas? And we get to plant whatever it is we want to see grow. So when we experience negative growth, it's up to us to pluck that thought out and replace it with something we want more of. Just like our prayer box. Plant what you want, not what you don't want. As we sow in mind, so shall we reap in manifestations. We talked about last week of what is substance. Substance is everything. And we want more of that good substance in our lives, no matter what area we might be focusing on or all of those areas, because it brings about manifestation. Those thoughts bring manifestation, good or bad. The wonderfulness of our mind, you get to choose what you want to plant and grow. You get to choose. Now, metaphysically, the fun part is that when you notice you're planting something you don't want and you pluck it out, you give praise for the awareness that you had a negative thought that doesn't need to be grown. Not bashing yourselves into thinking you should have known better. When you make the realization, you fix it. Just like Ahab did. He got rid of the idol worshiping, he was good to go. Moab, on the other hand, wanted all those idol worshiping. And so when we go within to the prophet Elijah within us, that prophet, that intuitive nature within us, when we go there, we're given good seeds to plant. But we must go there. We must ask for that help. We must seek out that guidance. And that's what Ahab did, which allowed him to be successful. And he was one of the more successful kings of Israel because of that. The other law is the law of cause and effect. If you want to be successful, our first concern is to keep our thought atmosphere charged with thoughts of success and plenty. When you go to do something, simple thing. You're going to Publix to pick up a red onion. Easy peasy. You get in your car or golf cart, you drive, you go in, you pick out the red onion, you pay for it, and you come back. Success, right? You don't start out in your car and say, I know there's no red onions, but I'm going to go look anyway. You don't do that, right? That's how simple this is. So when you ask for something, do you expect to get it? And are you asking for something you actually want? Or are you asking because somebody told you to? You better clean up your act, right? And you go, yeah, okay, fine, okay. Yeah, maybe I'll wish for that, right? You have to want to sow that seed. You have to want it. Don't waste your breath if you don't want it. Move on to something else. If you're not ready for it, that's okay. Get ready for something else. How many of us know these wonderful stories of people who win the lottery and then a year later they don't have any money? Because they weren't ready for that prosperity. They were ready in their pocketbooks and the outer world, but they weren't ready in their beingness for that prosperity. That's why, this is one of the truths that always makes me clear on the power that we have. That when you are born with a lot, you seem to keep a lot. You seem to manifest a lot. You could have it all taken away from you and you would manifest it again. Why is that? Because their state of consciousness is not aware that there could be lack if I lose everything. But if we lose everything, we're like, oh my God, bankruptcy! Instead of recognizing that God takes care of us, but it's up to us to do the steps in order for God to take care of us. You'll find in this wonderful book some phrasing, because God will take care of us. How many have heard that language, right? And God will, but God doesn't do anything. So how can God take care of us if God doesn't do anything? How's that working? I'm like, huh? Wait, you said God's going to take care of it. We have to do the steps. We have to do something in order to hear and be part of the solution that God is providing us. Just like the boat. I was waiting for God to save me. God's like, oh, for God's sakes. What's it going to take? What's it going to take for us to shift and to let God help us by us doing the will and guidance of God? The will and guidance of God. Huge. Huge, huge. So I'm going to leave you with some questions. Those of you that want to, you can see these questions as well on our YouTube channel, which we'll have posted for this talk in an hour or two after the service. What are you laughing at? What? Huh? I don't know. I don't see it. It looks good to me. See? You see what you want to see. I don't see any error. It reads perfectly fine to me. Right? I got what I wanted. How about you? These are good questions for you to think about. And your homework specifically is the first one. What one thought of fear and or lack are you willing to change your wind about? Because there's wind, there's energy behind it, right? I should have had Susan proof this. Didn't think about that. I didn't hear anything. What do you guys think? What? See? Isn't that the truth? We see and we hear what we want to see and hear versus what's really going on within. This is a good question for you to think about for your homework. What area of your life would you like to shift and plant a different seed? What area? What's going on? You know? And to allow yourself to change your mind about it. If you're feeling lonely, don't raise your hand, because you'll get bombarded later. If you're feeling lonely, this is a seed you can plant differently. If you're feeling low of energy, plant a different seed. Go within. If you're low of energy, maybe you need to stop eating Cheerios. I don't know. Whatever your guidance tells you. Are you willing to do that which is placed in front of you to do to resolve an area? And many times we say no. And I'm inviting you to say yes. What do I got to do? What do I got to do? Explain the power of good thoughts. Good discussion for spirit groups. How does fear and worry limit your prosperity? I don't have enough. I don't know where my... We go in there and we feed it. Stop feeding it. I have plenty. I ate in the last 24 hours. I'm good. Right? Yeah. How does the saying, all things are possible with God, which is from Mark 10:27, lead to our prosperity? Another good discussion question. So I invite you to take these to heart. Live with these, because this is only the second week of this wonderful book. It's got some good stuff in it, and why not plant something different? What have you got to lose except lack and fear and sorrow and pain? Just a thought. Get it? Just a thought? You say it's just a thought, but the truth is, if you're watering it, it's more than a thought. It becomes who you are. And is that who you really want to have in your life? That. And if it's not, change your thought. Change your mind about it. God bless, and I see only good things happening in each of your lives. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. This is the time in our service where we give over our gifts and our tithes and our love offerings. And together we're going to affirm our offertory prayer. Together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. And so it is.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my power over the mountains. I send
Offertory blessing again, but this time using the pronouns us and we. Together. Divine love as us, blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive, and we are grateful. And so it is. Amen. We have a wonderful transformational story that Susan Schroeder is going to share with us today.
How do you get it out? I guess I'm going to talk up here. All right. How do you get this thing? Ah, got it. I'm not used to these things. Thank you. Okay, now I have to put the right glasses on so I can see what I'm reading. But yeah. Okay, thank you. And of course, it's upside down. I would like to tell you how I came to this Unity community. At the time, I didn't know what Unity was. I had lived in the same small village in New York for over 70 years. I raised my 4 children there, and even a couple of my grandchildren were raised in that same town. I had a spiritual practice and read many books on spirituality. I thought I had a fairly good relationship with God, still learning and growing. About 5 years ago, my friend Stella, she and her husband invited me and my husband to visit them here in the villages. My husband fell in love with the villages. We drank the Kool-Aid. So 4.5 years ago, we pulled up roots and moved here. But in the process of packing and moving, I developed spinal stenosis and sciatic nerve pain in both my legs. Needless to say, I was in a lot of pain. Pain meds did help, but not completely. Between pain meds, and emotional stress of moving away from family and friends, I lost my compass, my anchor, all my devotions, meditation, and connections to God seemed to be gone. I felt lost and drifting. Even when we settled in and was basically pain-free again, I was still adrift. I thank God for my friend Stella. She helped me to fit into the neighborhood. Otherwise, I think I would have been totally lost. I knew I needed a spiritual base. a spiritual home, place to meet people of similar beliefs, something to anchor me again. I passed this church a couple of times. I thought it was a Unitarian church. I have attended a Unitarian church one Sunday with a friend. It was all right. It was okay. But I was told that each congregation was a little different. I thought I would give this one a try. What do I have to lose? One Sunday, I did. I drive a Ford Ranger pickup truck. You probably have seen me in it. The same one that Reverend Moe had at that time. I parked the truck and headed for the door. Well, this woman came out of the door, rushed up to me, and put her arm around me, saying something to the effect, "I want to meet the person who has the same truck as me." Scared the bejesus out of me. What have I got myself into? What have I couldn't escape. She escorted me through the door. I had to go in. I don't remember if I went to the welcome desk or not, or snuck by. I sat way in the back, way back over there. The opening song was very lively. People got up and singing and clapping. Now I really didn't know what I was in for. It wasn't music I have heard in churches before. Now I understand, and I just love it. Thank you, Donna. After the song, Reverend Moe got up. Oh my God, this crazy lady is the minister. What happened next? She opened with a joke, then read the daily word, which I was familiar with, and prayer. Okay, this is good. There was a meditation. It felt like balm for my aching heart. I don't remember what the sermon was about, but I do remember how it made me feel. It was like Reverend Moe was speaking to me, to my very soul. I knew I had to come back, and I did. Still sat way in the back. Slowly, I started to feel comfortable. I had been bit before by joining groups, quickly, and found out that there was more than meets the eye and not particularly good. So I really had to feel my way and see what the spiritual mind of this community and unity really were. As I got to meet people and started to feel, maybe I can be a member, everyone was warm and welcoming. Reverend Moe was still speaking to my heart and soul on Sundays. I joined a spirit group at Holly and Gus's home. That's when I knew that this congregation was my spiritual home, where I can be challenged and grow spiritually as a person and as a person. I found my center, my anchor, my God again. Since then, I have become a platform assist and have hosted spirit groups in my home. First, I became a community member, but also now a governing member. Not long after becoming a community member, I also took the quantum training. This training gave me the tools to discern what pushes my buttons and where those reactions came from and how to deal with them and heal. I still have to chew on the problem for a couple of days before I go and say, the quantum living, and it really works. Now, I have grown spiritually closer to God, and I'm hungry for more. I thank God for leading me here to this community of love, acceptance, and is God-centered. This happened with the help of Reverend Moe and this community, all of you, and of course of God. And I thank every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sweetie. Isn't she adorable? Yeah, you just want to eat her up, you know? So now this time in our service, we've had some wonderful things taking place Friday and Saturday here at our ministry, and so I would like to invite our prayer chaplains to come forward. Yeah. First of all, I want to introduce to you Carla Knack. Most of you know Miss Carla. She's our licensed Unity teacher, and when you become a licensed Unity teacher, you pick a focus, and she has chosen to pick prayer as her focus. So she is our prayer chaplain trainer in addition to being our licensed Unity teacher, and she has conducted a training this past weekend to recommit these wonderful folks to being our prayer chaplains, as well as installing 2 new prayer chaplains. So with that, I want to personally thank Miss Carla for being so much a part of that essence, and for that. And for those of you that know, we follow the Leilani Burke method of providing the chaplains program here. And so we're very clear on what works and what doesn't work. And for that, we are grateful to know that there's a program that we can use and utilize. So thank you for that. So I want you to know that these wonderful folks have made a commitment to certain aspects of the prayer chaplaincy program. So I'm going to invite, I know all of you have signed this, and so I'm going to invite you to say, yes, I do, after I read each of these statements, okay? Come on forward, Jeff. You got it. Yeah. All right. I commit to a daily spiritual journal which is based on love, journey, which is based on love, faith, prayer, and gratitude. Yes, I do. I commit to demonstrate an active commitment to Unity Spiritual Center near the villages, principles, and beliefs in my daily life. Yes, I do. I commit to hold a spiritual space of possibilities for others and myself, knowing and trusting that God is in charge. Yes, I commit to prayer, both with myself and with others. I commit to express the desire and ability to lovingly listen to others. I commit to having and demonstrating a genuine interest in the well-being of congregants and of other prayer chaplains. I commit to hold that is shared in strict confidence. I do. Thank you. And now I know that you're honoring the time investment required to serve as a prayer chaplain. I know that you're making phone calls to contacts with those assigned to you on a monthly basis. I know that you maintain communication with the prayer chaplain trainer and staff as needed on a regular basis. You will attend all meetings and annual mandatory training sessions, be punctual, and actively participate in all discussions. Yeah. So this is our new prayer chaplain train, and so I want to honor you by giving you your prayer chaplain certification, Miss Carla, Mr. Jeffrey. This is Jeff Whitman, folks. This is Denny Ralston. This is Miss Patty Cox, Mr. George Neal, Stella Hodkinson, and Jackie Piazzi. And with that in mind, with our 2 new prayer chaplains, I want to bestow upon you your chaplain stole. I'm going to take this off of you. Give me just a pause. Thank you, Stella. Well,
Oh, it's on the jacket, not the shirt.
thank you, dear. Always if I have a help, can always count on Stella. Stella! I know, I'm the first one that's ever done that to you. I know. I know. With that, ladies and gentlemen, our new chaplains, and we bestow our prayer for them. Let's all stand. Yep. Yep. Together, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ as you. And so it is. Amen. And please, as a gentle reminder, these wonderful folks in those purple stoles will be here after service to pray with you individually if you so desire. You see them up front with the purple on it, you are welcome to join them in prayer. Thank you so much. Thank you. Are there any guests with us? Any guests with us today? Oh. Excellent. We have a blessing for you as well, together. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ as you, and so it is. Amen. And so as guests with us, we hope that you'll join us in our community room for a snack, a cup of coffee, and give us a chance to get to know you, and hopefully you have already filled out a welcome card, and so we can get to know you and get you on our mailing list. And with that, why don't we all stand for our closing song, peace song, and singing the prayer for protection.